is all I know, and maybe it's not correct for me. Uh,
For which reason did you choose the King's Indian?
because I know like first couple of moves, just for this.
Okay, so for sure it's not a great reason to choose an opening. Exactly.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, this is what I meant. It's maybe yeah, it's completely wrong to choose this Indian thing.
the point is that for sure it's a difficult opening because in general when you play with black, the game is more difficult because white plays
Mm-hmm.
first and you have to play with less time. The point of the King's Indian is that it's an opening in which you don't find you don't fight immediately for the center and give you more difficulties because you must exactly understand the timing to contact on the center, because if you play without the center then you're always passive, and that's usually what happens in your games because you play without center, without a good
Mm-hmm.
plan, and then most of the time you lose also for this reason. Um, okay, following your approach, right? Well, in theory, play the King's Indian is not so bad because it's another way to play active. So it's something that you can also play. I don't think it's a bad idea, but you need strategical elements to play this opening. And maybe today we can work a little bit about that to understand better how we can use the strategical ideas that we studied to then apply in a opening that you play against other players. Okay, so we can do that
Okay.
today. We want to see well how to play against d4. And for now, play your moves. So for now, play the moves that you know, and when there is something wrong, I'll stop you, and then we introduce new ideas. Okay, imagine
Okay.
someone will play against you d4, and it's black to play.
Uh, so knight here.
Okay, so I'm write the title, King's Indian. Okay, let's say the go c4.
Uh, Probably this.
Nice c3.
This.
e4.
Uh-huh. And then might be this.
Okay, yes, exactly, because it's very important. Pay attention
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
e5.
yeah. Yeah.
Knight f3, because white wants to all the pieces.
Mm-hmm. But mm,
Yes, you can castle now, and it's fine. I play maybe bishop e2.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now now it's becoming more complicated. Now it's difficult for me. I don't know what to do actually. But I don't know. Maybe I would go for some development of knight. Maybe here. Not sure. Not sure.
Okay, okay, let's stop here. Our play. Okay, the point about the opening is that white has a big advantage of space. So the white
Mm-hmm.
center is strong, is very strong, and your logic must be to undermine the center. So the first question is which push or which pushes can you imagine to undermine the enemy center?
Maybe c5
Or you think about c5, or you think about e5.
or a5. Yes, but yeah.
Okay, sorry, tell me what you think about the two moves.
Oh, e5 he can just take, right?
Yeah, in that case, can help you tactics because it's true that he can
Ah,
take,
very strong tactics.
but it's also
Yes,
true that the
yes.
knight is not defended, so you can take on e4.
Sorry. Uh-huh. But and also he can. Ah. Okay. I see now. I see now.
Because once he
Okay, I
takes the
see now.
knight, you take back the knight on e5.
Yeah, I see
And
now. But he can also trade the queens, right?
yes, but it's
Is
the
it good for me?
same. Once he take, you take back with the bishop.
Because like I try to avoid with queen's trading. It's like my naive understanding. I want to go for a mate or for a decisive advantage.
Yes, but when you are black, can be also a
It's
good
okay,
idea
right?
because you have no problems, your piece are well developed, and then also play an endgame. It's a way to win, to play chess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
s-
Yeah, it's
s-
good point. It's good point. With black and I play for a
because
draw also.
if you want to match, then maybe you take nothing, right? If you want to take small things, maybe you are able to take them, and this in the long
Mm-hmm.
term can help you to win the game,
Mm-hmm.
or to have a better position.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, good point.
the point about that is that potentially you can play c5 if you want, it's possible, or you can also play
Mm-hmm.
e5. So I can push e5 or c5.
Then e5 is better than c5 because
It's
it's more center based, I would say.
yeah, but it depends by the plan. I mean, imagine you play
Mm-hmm.
e5 and they play d5, for
Mm-hmm.
example. In this case, what would be
Uh,
your plan?
uh, c6 maybe.
Okay,
And
okay, but you could
but
wait and so
but
imagine you play
it
c6.
looks like this position is closed, right? And my bishop is also closed
Exactly,
for a long time, right?
true.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is the plan. So if you don't know the plan, this position is is very difficult for you, and you don't have yes, big ideas. But there is a plan
Mm-hmm.
that is quite interesting because this position is very common, and there are interesting ideas for both players. The key point is understand the structure. So when you play against the structure, in which you play
Mm-hmm.
5 and then they play d5, my advice is to build a plan on the king side. So my advice for black is to create an attack on the king side.
Okay.
How can you do that? Usually you can move the knight away. So maybe you can move this knight away and then you push f5.
Mm-hmm.
Is more
That's good.
common is more common in this move order. So it's very common that now white doesn't push, but white plays castle. You play knight c6, d5, knight d7, and when they play, for example, moves like b4 or a4, you try to play f5. So imagine they
Mm-hmm.
play b4, for example, or let's say rook e1. You move the knight away, and then you play f5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
topic will be to
I like it. Yeah.
push the pawn, taking space.
Mm-hmm.
If you take space, this can help you to make more pressure against the enemy king.
Mm-hmm.
And to take this space at the end, you can also push the g pawn. So the idea is to push the pawns to undermine the enemy king.
Okay. Okay.
Bring the
Okay.
queen and create an attack against the enemy king. Maybe you can
I
tell
like it.
me. Maybe you can tell me. Is dangerous? Push all the pawns of the king.
Yeah. 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 This is what I wanted to ask. Like it's if you put your pawns like G pawn for example, it's like F pawn is okay because there is like
It's only
closed
one pawn. Yes,
this.
one pawn can be okay, exactly. But two pawns, as you say, it can be risky.
Yeah, but especially G pawn,
It's
right? Or
it's
it doesn't matter. Okay, but yeah. It's
I,
dangerous.
I tell you the strategical reason because it's possible. I've write the
Mm-hmm.
topic. So when the center is locked,
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to push the pawns of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Good
this?
point.
What's the logic about that? So why, if the center is locked like this, it's easier for black maybe push the pawns to attack?
Because for opponent it's difficult to attack me.
Yes, because he doesn't have a counterplay on the center. He could attack in the other side, but counterplay in the other side, it's maybe long, not so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, you can create something. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the main point about that. Today, I'll show you examples in which we do attacks using this structure. Because clearly I played this move order, but the important to remember is not the move order, but is the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So once we have the structure, in general you can apply this plan with small differences. But my opponent played d4, knight f6, c4, g6, and I played exactly like you. So d6, knight
Mm-hmm.
f3, and then castle. Now studying together, we understood that e5 is possible, because even
Mm-hmm.
if he takes the pawn, I have then knight d4 and I can take the pawn back, so he played castle. And it's good for you to go with the knight on c6 to make pressure on the pawn, on the central pawn. If he pushes the pawn, now finally we have this structure that can potentially allow you to create the attack on the king side.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that in the meantime, white will attack on the queen side, so it's clear that white will do something against you.
Okay.
Can you guess what was my move now? So, which move did I play here to continue my attack?
Mm, I don't know. Maybe I would do this.
Okay, but if you can, it's okay. This move is not bad, but if you can, it's better to bring the knight in a more active square.
Ah, okay.
So if they play knight d2, now you're right. You can play knight d7 or knight d8 to tend to play g5.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this case the bishop is covering h5 and knight h5 is not
Mm-hmm.
available. But if they play before, now
Mm-hmm.
knight h5 is available, so I will go knight h5.
Okay. Okay.
Rook e1 was my opponent played rook e1, and now how can you continue?
Uh, F5.
Exactly f5, because you want to attack there and the pawn push is important. And I play knight g5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What white is threatening with knight g5?
Uh, uh, hmm. Mate. We want mate here. We want to
No, no.
replace this.
Yeah, maybe one day he will try to create threats there, but for now, it's protected. So for now, it's not
No,
a threat now.
now he might kill this.
Exactly, the knight is under attack.
Then
He's under attack two times,
then he bring his queen, and that's
and
it.
then maybe there is a checkmate threat. Exactly.
Yes.
So your knight is under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to solve this problem?
Hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about. Oh, sorry. F6 or F4.
Yes, both moves are okay. You can each play knight f4 or knight f6. In the game, I play knight f6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
Might
seems better.
might make pressure on e4, and
Mm-hmm.
I play solid. Maybe in the future I can also push the pawn. He played f3 to have a better defense on e4, and here I played king h8. King h8 can be useful because I bring the king on the side, which is safer, and also because in the future maybe keep the g file open. Not now because rook g8 I lose. There is the small direct checkmate.
Yeah.
But maybe if I remove the knight, then I can push on the g file to attack.
Interesting. Okay.
In this game, my opponent made a small mistake, that is bishop e3.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small mistake because the bishop on e3 is not defended, and this move give me time to play bishop h6, pinning
Ah,
the
so
knight,
he cannot move his knight right
and
now.
exactly, and I'm threatening f4.
Uh-huh.
So if he doesn't do anything, I play f4, and then I win the knight. because then the bishop has to go away and then I take the knight.
Okay.
So I block the knight,
Yeah.
the bishop is pinned.
Yeah.
Probably he should play this. But it's good for me because then I can block the
Hello.
king side and then later prepare maybe knight g8 and push the pawn because this bishop here is not great. It's a risk for him because maybe I can also play to trap the bishop. But this was the best way for him. He made in my opinion, a mistake playing h4. Oh, the logic is
Yeah,
to
but
defend the knight.
I was thinking about it also.
I push the pawn, that is my idea. He played that, and then I trade. And this pawn here, it's my target because once I take the pawn, my queen can also attack the king.
Yeah.
He played c5 because he needs to counterplay. So he needs to attack against my queen side, and c4 looks interesting.
Why
And then
he? Sorry. Why he not played it before? Like seven moves before.
When?
Like what? Oh, stop. Maybe now.
Okay,
Instead
instead of the knight, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could play it. But the main reason is that it's risky for him because maybe I can take on e4 and then I can potentially attack then d5 because always
Okay.
this pawn can be under threat. But it was possible, he could do that, but then I can also counter from the center. So if he pushes c5 too early, then I can potentially counter from the center. That's the reason because he waited a little bit.
Okay.
Even here c5, but maybe h6. And maybe I can counter from the center again.
Too early. Okay.
But once I play f4, he could play c5 easily. Because this time the pawn e4 is well defending d5. And c5 is something that he can play very solid because d5 is well protected in this case.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now I repeat, black idea is to attack the king. And to take h5. White idea is to attack the queen side, maybe take on d6 one day, join on the 7th rank with the rook, and have counterplay using the queen side. Knight g8, he played cd6, cd6, and queen d2. I took the pawn.
But it's already, yeah, you can do it.
But it's
Yes.
counterplay, because after I take the pawn, you can play knight b5, attacking one pawn, and the other pawn, so it's double attack.
So it's becoming more interesting, right?
Which pawn is more important for me?
Oh.
Exactly, so d6 pawn is very important, so I played queen d8. And he played rook c1. Okay, I added a question mark for this move because it's a mistake, but it's a long story why this move is a mistake. For now, it's not so important to understand why.
Okay. But couldn't he just take a7?
True, yeah, but if he takes the pawn, the problem is that in the meantime, I had bishop d7, and then it's a problem because it's risking to keep.
And he cannot move anywhere, right?
He could go there. No, he could go back
Yeah,
potentially.
but it's still controlled. You can take it.
Yeah, but he's defending.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, maybe
If-
no, but the reason is this the main reason because when I go here, I'm threatening mate, and once he takes, I'm threatening this move, taking the knight, and this move threatening mate.
Okay.
Because I've always the idea of the checkmate and the idea that maybe I can win material with the check, like a double attack.
Okay. Yeah.
So he decided to play rook c1, knight g3, and now he took. The idea is that if I play this, he should play. The only move is bishop b6 to don't lose material, and he played that. He's not mate because he can escape on f2.
Ah. Yeah.
And now at f6 there is a trick. Because if he doesn't defend, I'm threatening to play check, king f2, knight takes e4. Pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, and it's a fork, and I win the queen.
Okay. I see.
So he has to defend
see.
this,
Nice.
and he played bishop d3 because it's the only way to defend d4 well, and now bishop d7 to avoid that he can trade. Queen b2, knight g4, and now okay, this is the winning move, knight g4. Because the point is that knight g4 is covering the escape square.
Ah.
So if he doesn't do anything, I play check, checkmate immediately because he cannot escape. So after knight g4, he must take the knight because if he doesn't take, it's mate.
Yes.
Then I play f3 because my idea is to open the file. In this way, queen h1 is mate. So he has to play king f2 to escape. Because if he doesn't escape, I play f2. Let's say an example. Imagine he plays something casual. f2, this mate again.
Yeah. I see.
So he has to escape. Sorry, he has to escape.
I
Sorry.
see.
Check is double attack, so double
Okay,
check.
very nice.
So he has to go away. Here he has to cover f2, and now clearly I'm threatening the bishop, but plus I'm threatening to take a new queen. So he has to escape, and then after queen g2 he resigned because I'm threatening f1 queen with the checkmate, so it's impossible to defend. But let's go back by the beginning. So the topic is that I want to push f5, I want to push f4, because remember, if you remember when we studied the strategy, we said to attack we need space, pieces, open lines, and weaknesses. So playing a5, f4, we take space. Playing g5, g4, we try to make weaknesses and open new lines. And then adding the pieces, we try to create at the end the checkmate ideas.
Nice.
Clearly, it's a point. If we play well, we have a good position for black. If white plays very well and black makes mistakes, okay, white will have a good position with white. The starting position is equal, so it's clear that the starting position is always equal. Then depends by the strength that we can of the moves that we play during the game. But this kind of plan is necessary to play the King's Indian, because if you don't know this plan, then it's clear that it doesn't make sense to play the King's Indian with black. Because you play to fight for the center, white can decide to win space playing d5, but the result is that we lock the center. After we lock the center, then we can start an attack on the king side. If you do it, imagine you play it in a different way. Imagine you play now knight h5, it's a mistake. Why is mistake? Because let's imagine white plays a normal move and you play 5. This move would be a mistake. Because to start the attack, first the center must be locked. If the center is not locked, maybe white can open the position, and clearly the black attack doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So just one thing to add that is important, so that because if you attack and the center is open, then maybe it's a disaster. So and doesn't make sense. Because it's the problem when we play with memory. If you play with memory, you play maybe a5 in every situation and you lose because doesn't make sense if the center is not locked, right? So it's a important understanding of the center. That is a key idea. It's clear that maybe white doesn't push, maybe white trades, or maybe white will wait. In that case, we can also have other strategies. But for now, let's think about this option in which they play d5 to attack the knight will go away, and the knight h5 can be the idea to play the f5 and attack in this way. You played black. It was d4, knight f6, c4, g6, bishop g7, e3. So okay, he didn't play e4. You played d6, queen b3. You can still castle first, and then maybe move the knight. Okay, but move the knight is not the end of the world. And then you play knight d4. He played bishop d3, you took the bishop. You played e5, d5, knight e7, e4. Okay, e4. Now imagine you're playing this game today. Is black to play. Which moves do you consider?
f5.
Probably first castle, because
Yeah,
to play 5 you need
I was thinking about it. But yeah.
But for sure
First
f5,
castle
yes.
and then f5, yes.
Exactly. Because you know that now we have the same structure. Okay, the moves are different, so it's not exactly the same game. But it's clear that when you play your games on chess.com, the games will be always different, so you don't have the same. But you can have the same pawn structure. And if the pawn structure is the same, in general, the ideas will be similar. So maybe you can play castle. Let's imagine they play, for example, castle. You can play for f5, maybe e takes f5, you can also take with a knight, or sometimes with a pawn is fine. If they play a4, how do you proceed?
I probably just take the pawn on e4.
Okay, in general, the plan when you want to attack, you need to take space. Take the pawn e4 is more logical if your plan is to win the pawn d5. So if your plan is to attack the pawn d5, it's better to take the pawn. If your plan is to attack the king, it's better to push the pawn on f4.
Okay. But
in this case, the pawn d5 is very solid, so it's more logical to push f4.
Okay, but let's have a look. But then how can I move my knight somewhere?
You have to play this, right? So you play h6,
okay,
g5,
okay.
g4, and then you move the knight in the game.
Okay.
So let's say white plays a5. Then we can play h6 because g5 knight can take, right? So maybe play h6. a5, a6, b6. Because okay, you don't want that you can take. And now maybe queen c3 or queen a3. g5. b4 because white is preparing to play c5, g4.
Yeah, and now it's exploding. Okay,
not so easy because we have to add attackers, but you can bring the
but knight can go, yeah, queen can go.
And at one point maybe you can push the pawn to attack the enemy castle. So let's imagine we're gonna g6, maybe c5, queen h4. Clearly not playing very well for white, but I'm trying to play.
Yeah, just to illustrate the idea.
Exactly, and maybe at one point we can also imagine moves like f3 to open the king, because if g3 you can create.
Yeah.
Not immediately because the knight is covering, but then maybe you can add some sacrifices to add pieces. Or you can also add this idea to open the line and maybe bring the rook to h1 to play for the checkmate on h1.
Okay. Yeah. It's already something. Yeah. Okay, so basically I go forward and forward. If I want to mate, I go forward.
Yes, if you want to mate, you need space, so you need to push f4, and then you push the other pawn g.
Okay.
Then you bring the piece in that area, and you try to keep the pawns on the queen side safe. Less you move the pawns, better is for you.
Okay.
That's one important idea,
Okay.
and that's very nice. Clearly from the same opening, so it's a position that I took from the King's Indian, in which is black to play. The question can be, okay, it's black to play. What black can do to continue the attack? What can be the move?
If I move my rook,
This was what he
no.
played. What black played in this game, but it's a mistake because white played a5.
Mm-hmm.
Black played bishop e6.
Mm-hmm.
This was a game that I played with white because this position I'm quite expert. I played many times with white and with black. And
Mm-hmm.
bishop a6 is a mistake. Bishop a6 is a mistake because he didn't see a tactical idea. I think this move is
I,
very strong.
I also don't see it.
Okay, because he
It
has to take the knight. If he doesn't take, he loses the material, right?
yes, but take it.
Then I take.
Yeah.
I guess he has to take back with the pawn.
Yes.
And,
Ah.
and then
Uh-huh.
I'm attacking the knight. If he decides to move the knight away, then I play b5, and the bishop is lost.
Yeah.
So what's the result at the end? It's a trade about material, but white opened completely the queenside that is in the white favor.
What about this?
There is b5.
Ah, still b5.
So
Yeah.
yes, because
Yeah.
white can
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
open the
Yeah. Yeah.
position, and this is in white favor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So rook g7 is it's a mistake in this case.
But then I don't know. Knight. Maybe knight on
Knight f6 is
f6.
better
Yeah.
to support g4.
Yeah.
Imagine I play the same. Now probably you have to take because now the pawn b6 is too much under attack. There are too many pieces against it. So now you're forced to take. He takes and then you play g4.
Okay.
I was thinking like queen a4, but okay, that probably is bad, but not clear why. And now an example of attack can be in this case g3, for example.
But if he takes,
It's a very nice pawn sacrifice, exactly. You lose a pawn, as you are thinking. But then you can go knight h5. If g4, there is exactly the same topic of my game, right? In which
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
knight
see
and
it.
queen are very strong. And if he
But
takes here,
but if he just takes here, oops, sorry.
when I mean at the beginning, yeah, true. In this case,
But yeah, he can.
no,
So
you're right. He could try to take because maybe, but then there is e4, right?
ah,
This
okay.
pawn is
Yeah,
also
yeah, yeah,
weak.
yeah,
Maybe the
yeah,
queen can
yeah, yeah,
join,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's not great for him.
Uh-huh.
So imagine if he doesn't take and he plays queen f4, there is also these tactical tricks like g3.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine he takes, knight here, imagine he takes the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the simple idea is queen g5 and then play for checkmate.
But you can also take this. No. Who's? Okay, okay. Oh, sorry.
So what do you mean?
No. I just meant that with black have to move, but white have to move.
Yeah, yes, white to play. Yes, okay, if he's white, there is the bishop, yes, there is
Yeah.
the
Yeah, sorry.
So, but imagine they defend the bishop, then okay, you play queen g5. And okay, the attack now is really, really strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very difficult for him to stop everything, and maybe g3. But then we can play maybe with the bishop, the rook has to go away, then maybe we can add more pressure on g3, and everything is under big troubles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the logic of the attack. Bring pieces, push pawns, and at one point find a way to break the main structure and creating mating net.
Nice.
The mating net can be pawn plus queen. The mating net can be knight plus queen, for example, as we said in the other example. But it's clear that you have to play precise, because if we make mistakes, White has explained them in time. Because as we said, if maybe we don't play precise and we make mistakes like this, maybe you could have tactical ideas. And then your attack is not great, because in the meantime now White can completely open the queen side and play precise is the same position. He played b5 trying to block the position. And in this game, as you can see, black never attack. Black is always in defense in this game. It doesn't have time to do much, and clearly, if black plays in this way, black has problems, because without play without attack, this strategy doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay, so this is another example in which we play the same opening. And White play 91.
It's again same structure, exactly same, right?
Exactly. The difference that now we're looking at 91 that he didn't play in the other examples. What could be the logic of 91 in this case?
I don't know. I don't like this move. Oh.
I think probably this move is considered the best move for White.
Yeah. It's like losing some time, and I don't know. But yeah, maybe. But maybe he wants to control pressure or control center even more, and put pressure here. If he put his knight here on d3, and he then controls this. I don't know.
Okay, the logic is that playing 91, number one is blocking knight h5.
So he unblocks his bishop.
Exactly. And at the same time, this knight on e1 can go one day on d3 to support the push c5. And can free the push f3 if one day White needs to defend e4. So it's like a multi-purpose move, right? So it's stopping at h5, is free the push f3. In the future, maybe can go knight d3. Sometimes it's also potentially good to defend knight f2, as we will see in this game. So yeah, it's a good idea for White to play this. So in the game I played the knight d7 because I cannot play knight on h5, and I can push f5 in this way. f5.
Okay.
f4. Bishop f2, and I played g5 because okay, my idea is to play g4 when I'm ready, when I have enough support for that. And here he played knight b5 with the simple idea to take my pawn. So I played b6. In terms of strategy, it can be interesting to say why didn't play e6. The reason because I didn't play e6 is that if I play 6, White will play knight f7. It seems a strange move, but it's logical because the idea for White is to take my bishop, because my bishop is an important supporter of the push g4.
Okay.
And this
Okay.
logic is trading pieces. White king will be safer, and white can still continue with attack on the queen side.
Mm-hmm.
This is a subtle
Okay.
idea, good to know. So I played b6 to stop knight a7
Mm-hmm.
before to support c5, rook f6. So this game is important to show another attacking idea. My simple idea is to play rook f6, rook h6, queen e8, queen h5 to threat the mate on h2.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he has to play h3. Once h3 is played, I sacrifice the bishop to open the h5 and play checkmate anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays
Yeah.
c5, I played a6 first to force the knight to go away. And then,
Sorry. You like already here. You know your plan, right? You think about this
yeah, clearly
in real game.
when I played that, I knew exactly that my plan was this.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, clearly by the beginning, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
but before to do that, I forced the knight to go away. In this way, my queen is free to play because my queen for knight is defending c7. If I'm forced the enemy knight to go away, then my queen is free to attack.
But sorry, usually your opponent also see this that your plan is this.
Yeah, but I think he didn't understand the sacrifice, I guess.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
He understood the sacrifice only here.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine
Mm-hmm.
white plays h3. Okay, imagine white plays h3. What black can do in this case?
Uh, just move the knight from d7 somewhere
Exactly.
and kill this.
Where the knight can go?
Uh, I think close to this
Yeah, it's good, but
king side.
he should sacrifice exchange exactly.
Ah, okay, okay, yeah. But then knight can block it,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
Knight can go here.
Yeah, my idea was to play knight c5 exactly. So my idea was
See.
that if this, I give the knight, but then I give the bishop, but okay, I've mate anyway.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
That's why when I played queen h5, he understood.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
He understood that and he took the bishop immediately. But it's too
Okay.
late because he lost the exchange. And then he lost
Uh-huh.
because he was an exchange down. Clearly, as you said, if he knew the plan on time, he could defend.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, it's not so
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe here, I think here he could. But it's difficult. So try to imagine. Imagine white has to stop this attack. What white should play here?
Mm. Uh, uh, I don't know. It's a difficult question. But
Or maybe before. Maybe he should stop here, I think, to be more precise. When I play rook h6, he could stop here. Here for sure he can stop my attack, but he should know exactly my idea, and they should find the right moves.
I don't see good moves.
He could play knight e3, queen e8,
Yeah.
bishop e1, queen h5, h3, and once I move the knight, knight f2.
Ah.
And now my attack is stopped, right? But clearly I played this plan because I knew the white solution wasn't so easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, you should see it long time before because you should
Mm-hmm.
see it when I play rook h6. So
Mm-hmm.
now you should understand the black is
Oh.
going to play queen 8, queen h5, bishop h3, queen h3 mate. So to stop it, I should play knight e3, bishop e1, h3, knight f2. But okay, clearly it's not so
Crazy, crazy.
easy. And in the game, he didn't find it, and then he lost
Mm-hmm.
the exchange, and then he lost the game.
Okay.
But it's good to know that another plan to attack can be you play f4, you play g5, you bring the rook to h6, you bring the queen to h5. It's clear that he could stop the mate because h3 is always available, but then you have the bishop sacrifice, and you can mate. This can be another attacking idea that can be nice to know.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay, so let's write that. So attacking idea, rook h6, queen h5, bishop takes h3. Because it's clear that no one will lose with queen h2. If you threaten h2, okay, every chess player will defend h2 playing h3. But not every chess player will see on time bishop takes h3, queen h1. That's the point of the attack that we are thinking. Okay, so this can be another idea good to know. In the previous example, there was the idea also of g4. So not in this, but in the other example. Okay, clearly if he moves something like that, okay, you can go there and play for checkmate. This can be another checkmate idea, or if the knight will go to h5 and g3, the other checkmate idea can be like queen h4, queen h1, other example of attack, we can say.
What do you mean, which player? Like,
the point is that black in this position. So imagine this position. You're playing this position. Black is very good to attack the king.
yes.
But black probably is very bad in endgame, because if you remove the queens and we play games without queens, then maybe white play is better. c7 is under attack, this is under attack, the rook is in open file. So
But material is even.
Sorry?
Material is even.
Exactly, yes.
So.
But the endgame, in general, the endgame will be in the white favor.
Okay.
So if you play this position, by the beginning you know that trade queens will be in the white favor. That's the point also to know.
Okay.
I show an example about it. I played one game, for example, with white. And I was white, and in this game, black played exactly the same moves. e5, knight c6, d5, knight e7, knight. So I played 91 because I knew it was a good idea for white. She played 97 and bishop e3, f5, f3, f4, bishop f2. The pawn on f3 is good because can help me to also keep the bishop in this diagonal to attack on the queen side. Black played g5, that is good. Then I played knight b5, always the same idea to attack a7. White knew the idea and black played correctly b6, b4, a6, knight c3, knight g6, knight d3, and a5. Probably until here, black played perfect. a5 I don't think so good because in general, less you push the pawns on the queen side, better is for you. So probably a5 is a small mistake for black. I think it was better for black to play knight f6 followed by g4. Play g4 as soon as possible. So if black plays knight f6 and g4, I think black can have a nice attack. In the game black played a5, I played a3. Tuk. Now black played knight f6, but all the trades that black did, I think, are in white favor. Because here, after h5, black is ready to play g4, but now I played queen a5. Why did I play queen a5? What could be the reason about it?
Maybe to trade the queens.
Exactly, because my idea is to play c takes d6. After c takes d6, I play queen d8, and that's why the queens.
Yeah.
So this kind of strategical knowledge is very important to play the game. So in
So
this game, sorry,
you
sorry, go
played for
ahead.
you played for an end game already here, yeah? You
Ex-
wanted to
e-
force it to end game.
exactly, and this happened because black played g4, I took here, and then I played
Mm-hmm.
the game. And then at the end, I was able to win the game after many, many moves. But in chess, we must be patient to be able to win after a long time, right?
Yeah,
Um, um,
it's difficult sometimes to be patient.
yes, but it's important. It's a skill that is required. It's absolutely required. But if I don't play queen a5, it's risky because maybe black can play g4, then maybe g3, and again can have the attack that we said. Probably, if we must understand the black mistake, is to play a5 and try too many pieces. Because playing a5 takes on b4, rook a1, queen a1. Why black give me the possibility to activate my queen,
Mm-hmm.
and this idea that my queen is more active, I can use my activity to trade the queens.
Mm-hmm.
Trade the queens, I stop the enemy attack, and then I play that game in which I have a better position. Maybe not winning, but in which white has more possibilities. So then game
Mm-hmm.
in general will be in white favor. So the result is that in this case, instead to play a5, pushing the pawn at f6, maybe g4, and in this way, black has more chances to make a good attack.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another nice idea that we can have about it. Because it's important to know the both point of view. You must know your point of view, but you must know also the enemy point of view. Because you know that his point of view is to break the queen side, is to weaken your queen side, to attack there, to trade pieces, to trade the queens, and if you know
Mm-hmm.
that, this can help you to improve your understanding. And so
Okay.
clearly, the study that we today it's about something very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So we are studying the structure. So all what we said today, it's connected with the structure of pawns.
Mm-hmm.
If the structure is different, maybe the game will be different, and what we said is not correct in that case.
Of course, but still, it's very good. I like it a lot. We
Yes,
we
because it's a structure that's quite common.